All right, streamers expose Twitch. Man, Twitch can't get enough in the headlines of catching strays. We better get straight to this.
I see
Let's
one
go.
journalist say, security was so strict, journalists couldn't even do their job. You know, well, they weren't that strict, okay?
I wish that the mismanage our communications about the incident would have been fixed instead of them saying that they arrested the guy when they didn't.
Recently, Cinna, along with some other streamers, have been calling out Twitch's weird behavior. After the entire Emeru situation, they have been trying to play catch up and getting themselves some of the best PR in the world, when in actuality, anybody looking can just tell that they are trying their hardest to make sure that their company doesn't go up in flames after a bunch of people, including Cinna, have been exposing the terrible business practices they have been going through. But
I haven't seen the clip of it, but apparently it's really bad, and it's still going on where people are talking about this
too much. So let's start with the very clip that started this off, being an interview between Dan Clancy, the Twitch CEO, and Taylor Lawrence.
He had posted earlier today that I guess this fan was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon. Why should streamers trust Twitch to keep them safe at TwitchCon? Because I feel like simultaneously this has been such a secure event to the point that even like journalists have had struggled. Like, it is very secure. But here's this man that just walks up and is somehow able to bypass all these things.
Now, obviously, I'll be talking as someone who didn't go to TwitchCon, so, take what I have to say with a grain of salt. But from all the clips that I've seen, it definitely doesn't look like that secure of an event. With security just posted up, or people just being able to stop you at every single turn, it genuinely seems like a place where you can just walk around and kind of do whatever you want, and people are just going to look at you oddly if you make a mistake. But if you just walk around like you have enough confidence, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, this is also an event that is live streamed and people just record 24/7. So you can pull up clip after clip after clip of people bypassing the supposed very strict security that's supposed to be in place. And it just makes it all look very lackluster.
Sorry, what's that? Deshay.
Yeah.
Deshay Frost?
Yeah.
That's me.
Awesome. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We'll put you right in.
Okay, let's do it.
He's gonna walk you down to the ring.
Okay.
Oh no, he did not.
Cool.
No, Neon did not.
Thank you.
This nigga just pretend he was the Sean Frost.
Hi, we can start whenever you're ready.
Like, I've got to be
This nigga pretend he was Deshae Frost, bro. Holy
blind, 'cause
smokes.
I don't think the top-notch security is in the room with us, unless it's just permitting you to get inside the convention, because then again, I guess that would be a good thing. Don't permit anybody weird to get inside. But once you're inside, they just like go on their phone, start playing Candy Crush. Like, I'm just so confused where this top-notch security even is to begin with, because he was able to come in, take not only the Shea Frost spot, but when he was also just sitting there at the booth, I understand why people are able to get past those lines. If you go back and look, the only security that's really there is one Twitch staff member to like his right, and that's it. There's no one else there, so there's no real security to begin with. A lot of people noticed that and noticed that weird statement that she made, and Cinna saw it as well and decided to call her out on it.
I'm gonna be honest with you, there were places it was really good, there were places it was lax. It's not as black and white as security is non-existent, and it's not as black and white as security is over the top. Because both things were not true. I did see one journalist say, security was so strict, journalists couldn't even do their job. Girl, well, all right, like let's keep it a buck. You know well, they weren't that strict, okay? They did try to do better this year, well, don't even try. I saw that. I said, yes, and what were you reporting on the TwitchCon floor? You know what I mean? What were we doing? I said, there's no way. Taylor Lorenz is a complete moron. You can safely ignore her. Well, I don't really know her, to be honest with you. I just saw that tweet and I laughed and I said, oh my God, you poor journalist. You had to get your wristband scanned and couldn't get into a private area, so you probably couldn't do your journalism. Like that, I just don't think that journalists were that restricted. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Like, what are we talking about? Are we being so dead? Like, sometimes it just brings out the brain rot of people on Twitter, bro. I said, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I mean, my thing is, if you don't feel safe and secure at TwitchCon, then just don't go, bro. Just don't go. Like, that serves it up right there.
I don't know.
From Senna's own account, apparently security wasn't that black and white, but security against journalists wasn't that crazy to the point where she would have to stick up for Twitch for no real reason and be like, hey, yeah, it was pretty hard for even me to get in. It was difficult for me to do X, Y, and Z, when other people outside of just Senna were calling her out saying that's probably not the case, and you're definitely just pandering to Twitch. At least that's what it feels like, especially if you watch that entire interview. It makes things a lot worse. But overall, it wasn't just Senna calling out that dumb interview and calling out Twitch as a whole, but it was also other people that after that Emerald incident were calling out Twitch and their weird behavior, trying to pull PR stunts so that they could look better. One of those being Fan after Twitch tried to force her to have Twitch security that she didn't even want.
And so I told my Twitch partner manager, I was like, listen, I know you guys are trying to help, and I know the whole Emmy thing happened, but like, don't force this on me. You know, like, I get you guys kind of have to, like, you're trying to cover your, no offense, probably shouldn't be saying this with Twitch Rivals thing right on my screen, but you know what I mean? Now you're just overdoing it, and I did not ask for this. Like, they asked me before I came if I needed an escort between my events, and if they needed someone to watch over me during my events, or like if I'm walking around the convention and stuff. And all along I was like, no, I don't want one. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not even for me, it's just for PR, and I'm like, I don't want one.
I already know what a lot of the comments
Yeah, that sounds PR to
are
me.
gonna say, calling out clips like this, being like, isn't this what y'all want Twitch to do? Y'all want Twitch to up to security. When they eventually actually end up doing it, people just complain and seem upset about it. Well, it's more because they're not really doing it to help these creators and to make sure these creators are okay. Just like Fan said, it's more of just so they can have good PR. It would be
Just own up to it and apologize. Send out a letter and apologize and say, hey, I'm sorry that we apologize. This was on our behalf for not having more security for such and such and any others that felt unsafe. We apologize and we'll do better for this next coming event in the future. That's it. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Own up to it. That's it.
whole different situation if they saw the Emerald thing and instantly started making sure, hey, we want buff security, or even before that Emerald incident when people were calling out Twitch talking about they don't want to go because they are scared of their safety, they instantly buffed up security, explained that they're going to have different creators have security followed around. They consistently offer security, but it had to take this situation, not only the Emerald situation, but Emerald going on her own platform, going on Twitter, talking about how lax and how terrible Twitch was as a whole and how their staff really wasn't doing anything, for them to eventually now want to actually buff up security that they can look better in the eyes of other people. And I know I already made a video about this, but I want to play this clip again so I can understand not only Twitch's response, but Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, when he originally spoke on the situation, this was the first thing he had to say.
The safety of our creators is a top priority. The challenge we face is a challenge in today's society. It's not limited to Twitch. It extends throughout our society. I do think that when
to be fair, that is true. We are living in a time where people, they think that they're so inclined to do certain things, like walk up on the stage and inappropriately touch or buck a person that they're a fan of or whatever, just because they're so used to seeing behind the screen, they want to get real close up on, and people just don't know how to really respect a person's space anymore these days. Like, she would have been wrong if she would have stole on him. She would have been wrong if she would have stole on him, right? For defending herself.
extends throughout our society. I do think that when you're live streaming, in many ways, since you control your community and you can ban people, you can make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't there. Okay, it's very different, you know, when I use other short form content.
And what I mean about that, to clarify, because you'd be like, no, she wouldn't, she'd been right. No, because then she would have got sued. She would have got sued. I'm gonna go back now. I had to clarify that.
Since you control your community and you can ban people, you can make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't there. Okay, it's very different, you know, when I use other short form content and people say all sorts of stuff, well, I can't stop that. But when I live stream, they basically don't bother me. Now, what happened yesterday obviously was something that we care deeply about, securing this environment. You know, we're looking very closely at everything that happened there, and I care deeply about Emmy. She's a friend of mine, and so I want to see how we can support her. This is just something we have to keep working on. I think everyone identifies our tools in terms of trust and safety as the leaders in the industry about helping creators, but that means there's always more work to be done.
And he first half of that statement, he basically points the finger at her, explaining that, hey, you're the one that makes up the people that follow you, so why don't you just ban the creeps? Why don't you just ban the weirdos? And they won't be able to do anything to you anymore, as if that's not an online thing that doesn't infect stuff that happens in person. Safe to say, even with that short clip, if you've already seen it before or if you've never seen it, you can tell that that entire interview did not go well at all and just built the worst PR for Twitch, which is the opposite of what they've been trying to do after this entire situation. And because of that, they decided to put out another statement as recent as yesterday at the time of me recording this, trying to fix whatever they did wrong, when in reality, it just doesn't seem like they're doing anything to improve at all. First, I want to be upfront and take accountability for the security incident that occurred during Emeru's meet and greet. It shouldn't have happened, and we take that very seriously. We failed both in allowing it to occur and in our response following. We mismanaged our communication about the incident, and that includes the comments I made. I apologize to Emeru for all that took place.
Okay, so they did do a letter. They apologized for the event that happened in Emeru. They apologized to her. Now they just gotta actually do what they said. That's it. That's it. Actually, but you know, people get so tired of the bull crap that people in these companies do that it's like, how many times we're gonna continue to take these backhanded apologies, and then you go back and do what you're doing, which is showing that you don't care. So, hey, you know, you kind of just, at this point, dig your own grave.
What we are doing moving forward for meet and greets, we've begun a complete analysis of the incident that took place, as well as other issues that came to our attention after TwitchCon concluded. We're examining everything from how we do signups to the layout to the increased security controls. We're also doing a comprehensive review of overall event safety and security, and we'll be making updates for future TwitchCons. While we won't be sharing all security updates for privacy and safety reasons, we will keep our community informed about the changes that directly impact attendees. We have heard concerns about IRL streaming at TwitchCon. Twitch has evolved over the years, and IRL streaming is a part of Twitch, but we need to ensure that TwitchCon meets the needs of varieties of participants. We will be reviewing how we handle IRL streaming at TwitchCon, and we'll have more to share soon. Finally, we got clear feedback on accessibility across the event. We're reviewing with our team, including our production and venue.
So basically, this is whole thing talked about how they're trying to take it serious. They're gonna up the dosage of their security and all that, right? That's what this is all about.
A lot to us. Be on the lookout for more updates, and thanks for being a part of Twitch. Dan Clancy. Now, a lot of that stuff sounds like good updates and good changes. I just wish it didn't take this long and for Twitch to be dragging their feet and literally being forced to have to do this because of the Emeru backlash from other streamers, backlash from literally every last person, to the point it just feels like a corporate tweet that they put out so that in case they get sued or something brings up like legally, that they can just say, hey, look, we're making improvements. We took our stance and we understand what we did wrong. But at the end of the day, a lot of people were also just not happy with this overall. And again, that person being Senna, who was upset about their whole mismanagement of this entire situation to begin with.
You know, I wish that the mismanage our communications about the incident would have been fixed instead of them saying that they arrested the guy when they didn't, because they didn't, and it's on camera. So I just don't understand, if Twitch is a company, how the levels of PR that it went through in order to get to that point, if they have such a PR team, and I know that they do because I've seen how their stuff works a little bit behind the scenes, how that statement even made it to the public and was so mismanaged if it wasn't true. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if that's Dan that made the call. I have no idea. I don't know who made the call in the company, but I've been very vocal for a while now about like how I feel about Twitch is like, and how it is managed from the inside for a while. So I don't think that's anything new. Like, people know how I feel about the app. They know about all this. Like, I don't know who made that call. It's just a dumb call. And that's not addressed in here. To be honest with you, I think the damage has been done. I do. Like,
Twitch as a whole has just been terribly managed by a lot of people, and there's been so many concerns about what happens not only at the cons but also on the platform that just never get addressed and get ignored consistently, even though people have outcries and talk about it so often, yet they only actually do something when it gets pressed and a bunch of people are actually sharing and talking about how much they hate the experience. And that's not enough. That actually has to go viral, and an incident like this has to go even more viral for them to actually step up and do do something. Even when it does happen, we've already heard accounts from multiple people that this is not the only reason why this is happening. It's because the situation got pressed, and then it got pressed even more by the person who was involved in it, so that they would actually pick their feet up and want to work on something. And it's just been a lot of backtracking and trying to get positive PR by Twitch overall. And you can just see that with every situation that's happened so far, with these statements, with people trying to get more security. Most recently with the situation happening with Nina Lynn, which if you haven't seen, I have an entire video breaking that down. But a lot of people were addressing their concerns about her for a while now. But all of a sudden, after Twitch dropped this statement, literally a couple hours later, she ended up getting banned because a bunch of people were making concerns that she should have already been banned.
I mean, yeah, she's a weirdo. I don't know how it took that long.
Yeah, it's not even a TOS offense, that's a crime.
That's a literal crime. And you know it's bad when she admitted and she said that he should be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like, what are you?
Oh,
That was like the worst thing you could have ever said.
As we go to XQC react to it, they're like, she should be banned. And then she's like, I'm sorry. It's like, bro, how you gonna apologize after the fact?
Well, they're not even useful to the platform. Who gives a
Jesus Christ, bro.
Again, in a vacuum, all of these moves are actually good things. Banning people for doing weird actions, getting called out, having people actually face consequences for the weird stuff that they do, calling out people and then admitting to mistakes that they made. Those are all good things in a vacuum. But unfortunately, these are things that are happening after consistent backlash, after the public sees it, after a bunch of news sources are tapping in, calling out Twitch, talking about how the platform is terrible, calling out all.
I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things, man. You're never gonna make anybody happy. You can't make everybody happy. Twitch not gonna make everybody happy. Creators not gonna make everybody happy. Everybody has their different opinions. Everybody has their different things or what they think. I think Twitch just needs to just own up to what they're supposed to be doing and focus on trying to make the platform better for these creators and these viewers, and also try to make it a safer environment if you're gonna do this Twitch cons, because yeah, it's getting crazy out here, bro. People are doing all types of stuff just to get viral, because they know if they insert themselves in certain ways, they can get clipped up and go viral. And for what gain? A lot of y'all don't even have platforms to capitalize off of. You just doing shit just do dumb stuff. Anyways, if y'all guys enjoy, man, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.